Hello! We are continuing our reading of the Athena Protocol, chapter 12, which is on page 159, and Jesse has just defused a bomb in Gregory's office. Story is getting pretty exciting. Chapter 12. I'm looking at the soles of Caitlin's shoes as she crawls ahead of me, back through the air conditioning vent. The decoder is in her jacket pocket. It's a lot harder getting back up than it was coming down, and dust is everywhere. We're both coughing from the dirty air, but as quietly as we can. Come on, Kate, nearly there, I say, trying to push her along. I'm calming down now. We spent the past few minutes tidying up the safe and office till there was no trace of us, and we're hoping that cutting those wires hasn't alerted anyone, or someone would have shown up by now. And without a security override, no one can get into that office except Gregory, or Caitlin with her fake fingerprint, and he's busy watching Kit's concert, so it feels like we have a little time at least. Emerging onto the roof and into the cool night air feels good. Caitlin reaches down to help me up. We can see the top of the stage and hear Kit singing. Neither of us says anything. We both feel rough, to be honest. All that stress and planning, and we nearly died, with nothing to even show for it. Gregory's hard drive wasn't there, and so we can't prove how he blackmails the most powerful people in the region to keep himself out of trouble. Basically, we failed. Our earpieces come to life. It's Amber. I've got a match on that decoder. It's generally used to unscramble coded information attached to JPEG files. You mean like photos? Caitlin asks. Yes, or scans, meaning Gregory probably keeps the information coded into files that look utterly innocuous. Caitlin pats the pocket holding the decoder, like she's making sure it's still there. And we have no intel on where those JPEGs are? She asks Amber. No. Caitlin sighs. She's pissed off that Amber sent her in and nothing was there, but she won't say anything. Amber's voice comes back through our earpieces. Caitlin? Yeah. A pause. Amber hesitates, then stumbles over the next part. Jesse stole equipment and IDs. Lee's orders are to bring her in. Caitlin looks at me, and I stare back. I can't believe this. I just saved her life. Caitlin jerks her head at me, telling me to get out of here. What does Lee want me to do? Caitlin asks Amber dryly. Knock her out and throw her over my shoulder while I go back to being Kit's bodyguard? As she speaks, I take hold of my bag, which I left hidden before I jumped into the vent, and pass my head and shoulder through the strap so it's held tight against me. Checking over the wall between turrets for guards, I see a black suit almost directly below me, patrolling away. I wait for him to pass. In my earpiece, Amber is conferring with Lee, and Caitlin turns to give me a look. Hurry up. I indicate the guard situation, and Caitlin nods. Her hand goes to her pocket, and I know she's popping a couple of her anxiety pills out of the foil. I turn away, looking over the wall again to give her some privacy. The guard rounds the corner, and I'm clear. Anyway, it's too late, Caitlin is saying. She's gone, and I have to get back to Kit. I start to lower myself down the wall. The bigger question, Caitlin says, turning angry to deflect attention from the subject of me, is why you sent me in there and there's no hard drive. Amber's flustered. It doesn't make sense. Right until tonight, data shadows were coming from that section of the house, from his office. Amber's words make me pause halfway down the wall. Above me, on the top floor, is Gregory's office. Below it, right below it, is Paulina's bedroom. In the exact same part of the house as the office. Could the data packets be coming from there? I'm hanging off the building, and I'm right next to one of the windows. Not the one I looked out of with Paulina earlier, at the front of the house, but one on the other side of her suite, at the back, where the walk-in wardrobe is. But she had no computers in that place. Maybe she has a laptop neatly placed in a drawer somewhere. Where else could there be files? Or JPEGs? And then it hits me. I look back up to the roof to see if Caitlin's watching, if I can give her a sign, but there's nothing to see above the top of the house except an inky sky and a new moon, sitting there like a perfect sliver of fingernail. Below me, the guard is due back within a minute. I press the soles of my feet against the wall to walk myself over to Paulina's window, which is open a little. Why wouldn't it be? It's a warm summer night, and the place is gated and alarmed with security cameras everywhere and guards on patrol. It doesn't take me long to crack the window wider and slide in. The first thing I do is slip off my shoes. They've sunk into about 2 inches of deep, soft carpet, and I don't want to track dust from the air conditioning vent all over her immaculate suite. Luckily, the lights are all off. I had noticed a tiny security camera in one corner of the bedroom, placed facing away from the bed. Even traffickers' families need privacy, I suppose. But I can't see any surveillance equipment in the wardrobe. If anything does pick me up, I'm counting on the fact that Amber's still in control of the internal house cameras and has replaced all live footage with tape from earlier. Quickly, I make my way into the main bedroom area. It's really dark inside, but glimmering light from the concert gives me enough to work with. The whole place smells like Paulina, a sort of warm citrus scent that only belongs to her. I run my fingers along the base of the digital picture frame, and there it is, a little door that slips open. Inside is the memory card. I grasp it with my fingertips and pull it out. But now what? I don't want to swipe the card and have Paulina find it missing as soon as she tries switching on the frame. I pad over to Paulina's ensuite bathroom. No one with eyebrows that perfect could fail to have tweezers. I find them, then use them to separate the edges of the SD card. Once that's done, I can tug the plastic casing of the card apart and pull out the metal chip, which is where the photos are kept. I pocket the chip and sandwich the card back together so that it slides perfectly into the frame again. If you didn't take it out and examine it, you'd never know there was anything wrong with it. Then I use the same tweezers to tease out one of the wires in the cable casing that runs up the rear of the frame. That should kill the power so the frame won't switch on at all. That way, they'll waste time fixing the wiring before they even think to check the SD card. As quick as I can, I put everything back where it was and get out the way I came in. Outside, I navigate a quiet route to the portable toilets that Gregory has set up for his guests. Since everyone's enjoying the concert, the toilet stalls are completely empty, which is great for me. My outfit is a mess, dust and dirt from the vent covering my legs and arms. My hair is all over the place and my face looks like I've sweated through the most stressful few minutes of my life, which I have, but it's not a stylish way to reappear at the party. The bathrooms smell like flowery disinfectant. The walls are pink, the sinks are pink, the stall doors have pink flowers on them, and in the background there's putrid piped elevator music coming in, which sounds pink. On my earpiece, Caitlin and Lee have exchanged words, and Caitlin has gone back to be ready for when Kit gets off stage. Amber is busy trying to figure out why the files we needed weren't in Gregory's office. I pull out the earpiece. If they think they can manage without me, let them. I don't see them making an outstanding success of this plan on their own, and frankly, I'm hacked off that I'm still being treated like a leper by Lee. If I hadn't been here, Caitlin would most likely have been blown to bits or shot by one of Gregory's thugs. I spend a good few minutes brushing off my trousers till they look halfway decent. Then I take off my shirt and use the hand soap to wash my face, neck, underarms, and arms. By the time I've rinsed it all off, I feel a lot better, cooler, and definitely cleaner. In my bag is another shirt. I always carry a spare top in case of spills. Juice, tea, blood, you never know. This top is the same as the last one. If there's one thing I hate, it's shopping. So when I find something I like, I buy lots of them. The upside tonight is that Paulina won't notice that I've changed. When I come back toward the stage, I try to position myself off to the side, behind the first rows of chairs. I'm hoping that if Paulina looks around from her front row seat with Gregory, she'll think I've been watching quietly, not wanting to impose. I glance over the crowd. They're all thrilled with the concert. I recognize the song that Kit starts next. As a reflex, I step back just a bit more into the shadows. She stands alone at the mic. The backup singers are gone, and there's nothing but an acoustic guitar and a soft drum brush accompanying her. A series of familiar, repeated chords start to play Baby Mine, a song that Kit wrote for me. The chords slow down, ready for her to join in, and when she starts the opening notes, I can feel everyone in the crowd stop breathing for a moment. She has an amazing voice at times. People tend not to realize when there's a lot of beat and noise around it, but just with a guitar, on her own, she hits every note, and she has that cool rasp in her throat, like she's been gargling with razor blades. I listen to her singing, and she's right in the song. It feels like she means every word. It took too long for me to understand, but like a tree that just won't bend, I will be here till the end, baby of mine. I close my eyes for a second because I feel it coming back. That memory I get only in dreams. Because I was so young. 5, 6 maybe. In the early days before I was at school, when she sometimes took me with her. We're on the tour bus, in the back, and I'm cradled in Kit's arms, and she's singing this song to me. Just her voice, and the comforting roar of the road beneath the bus wheels. She's holding me really close, her long hair hanging down over my face, shielding me from the highway lights speeding by outside. Jessie, where did you go to? I open my eyes, a hard snap back from the past, and Paulina is there, in front of me, looking concerned. Behind her, Kit is singing her heart out. I met a few people, I say. Then the concert started, and I didn't want to intrude, with you and your dad. I thought something happened, Paulina says. Well, I did break into your father's office and defuse the bomb he uses to protect his decoder, and then I prowled around your bedroom in the dark. I laugh. No, what could have happened? She's amazing, isn't she? Paulina glances at Kit on stage. Better than I expected, I agree. She's old, Paulina nods, but she's still got it. I imagine how Kit, in her mid-40s, would feel if she heard that. She'd probably want to throttle Paulina. I stifle a smile. Come back and sit with us. Listen, I don't want to impose. It's your dad's birthday. But I want you there, she says, earnest. That kind of just spilled out, and she looks down, like she's embarrassed. Again, she's a little bit in my space, a little too close, but this time I don't step back. Then, as Kit finishes the song and the crowd breaks into applause, Paulina reaches down for my hand and guides me back with her toward the front row. Somewhere along the way, casually, she releases her hold on me and we arrive back at our seats as Kit is getting ready to pound the stage for her big finish. I'm nervous, at Paulina's touch, at Gregory's curt nod when he turns to see me, and at the fact that Kit will surely see me from here, because even with the stage lights glaring at her, I'm just too close for her to miss. You know the way that little kids playing hide and seek close their eyes because they think if they can't see you, you can't see them? I try a bit of that with Kit. I focus off behind her, beyond the wings of the stage, where the trucks are, but the only people I can see there in the shadows are technicians, and Caitlin, back on duty as Kit's bodyguard. Which reminds me that I need to get this SD card chip to her so she can check it later using the decoder. But now, Kit starts into her final song, and everyone's up and dancing, and she's looking at Gregory, giving a bit of attention to the birthday boy. Her smile is big, and I know her well enough to know that it's also fake. But Gregory's lapping it up, smiling, nodding to the excited friends who surround him. When Kit's eyes meet mine, I'm impressed. There's not the tiniest flicker of anything from her. She's so intent on entertaining everyone that for a moment I wonder if she actually did register that it's me sitting next to Gregory and his daughter. But her eyes come back to mine eventually, and I know that she knows. The concert ends in a blaze of lights and music, and the stage goes dark, the blackness somehow heightening the sound of the clapping, cheering crowd. For a few moments, the lights come back up, and Kit takes a couple of bows. But that's it. She doesn't look at me again. Even though the crowd is yelling for more, the lights go off for a final time, and I can see my mother's outline heading backstage. It's funny, but when you've lived with someone all your life, you can tell how they feel, even at a distance, even in the dark. And as Kit disappears from sight, I know that she's angry. Already irritated by having to sing for Gregory, the sight of me sitting 2 seats away from him has probably sent her into a complete meltdown. Instinctively, as the crowd begins to disperse, I move away from the stage, but Paulina pulls me back. While Gregory is accepting all sorts of congratulations for a fantastic concert, as if he were the one doing the singing, Paulina is lingering near her father. We're taking some pictures, she says, with Kit, backstage. Well, I guess when you're spending that much on a 45-minute set, you can expect the performer to stand still and grin through a few snapshots for the family album. I'll wait here, I say. The last thing I want is to get too close to Kit at this point, or to make myself more of a thorn in Gregory's side. Paulina hesitates, then nods, but she gives me a look, like, Make sure you don't run off." "I won't move," I tell her. I watch them troop backstage, where they all pose for pictures while I hang around near Caitlin. She's overseeing everything, pushing a few stray guests off to the side, acting the bodyguard, and giving the photographer the occasional order. I sidle a bit closer as she guides two teenage girls out of the way. "Miss Love is not giving autographs right now," she tells them. Caitlin completely ignores me, but my fingers have already dropped the metal chip into her jacket pocket. "Check it with the decoder," I murmur before moving back to the sidelines. The photo call is over, and Kit is chatting with Paulina, who is being super charming and flattering about the concert. I see Caitlin's hand casually check her jacket pocket, but she doesn't give me another glance, and then Paulina turns and comes back toward me. We walk together, away from the stage area. To our right, a DJ is turning up a thumping bass that shakes the dance floor beneath us. A big crowd is dancing already, still on a high from the concert. When you watch someone like Kit move to music, it looks easy, but most people just can't get it right. Paulina follows my gaze. "You want to join them?" "I'm not much of a dancer," I tell her. "Me neither." Which leaves the question of what happens now. It's midnight. There's some time before the 3 a.m. appointment that Katerina scrawled down for me. Really, I should get out of here, away from Paulina and Gregory, and his fortress full of armed guards. But I don't feel like leaving her just yet. "Come," she says, and I follow her to a small patio area by the side of the pool. Clusters of garden furniture are dotted everywhere, and she chooses one of the quietest tables. We move some cushions and sit down on the same sofa. In front of us are silver ice buckets stocked with bottles of vodka, vintage champagne, and expensive mineral water. Every table in sight has a similar setup. Paulina pours us both some water. "That's better," she says. "It's hard to talk in that much noise. They're all getting more and more drunk, and less amusing." I glance over to all the guests. At the edge of the dance floor, Gregory is laughing hard with a group of men that includes Marcus. Another guy with a huge belly is spraying a magnum of champagne over a group of young women who are dancing nearby. They're laughing hysterically while people around them applaud. I look away, disgusted, and before I can wipe the judgment from my face, Paulina catches my gaze and holds it, as if she understands how I feel. She shrugs. "This is what people do when they have a lot of money." Maybe that's true in Paulina's world, but Lee's company is worth billions. I'm willing to bet she has a lot more money than this entire group combined. But I don't recall seeing her partying drunkenly and trying to hook up with men young enough to be her child. And Peggy and Kit have found a more useful way to spend their spare cash too. But to Paulina, I just nod. She kicks off her heels and pulls her legs onto the sofa. Her perfume is the same as the citrus essence in her room. Tired suddenly, I feel as if I could close my eyes and drift off, enveloped in that scent. Instead, I make myself sit up and focus. "What about your father? Doesn't he think he should be hanging out with Marcus?" "I don't care what he thinks," Paulina says sharply, and she turns her head so she's even closer to me. "I don't want you to be part of his world, just mine." Her voice lowers, and I feel myself blushing at that last part. I actually do. Paulina's embarrassed too, because she sits up, a little bit away from me, and takes a sip of water. Her other hand is on the sofa next to mine, but I don't have the courage to touch it. "I'd like that," I say. The laughter of Gregory's group draws nearer. We watch as about 10 of the men walk back to the house. Lots of orders are shouted at the domestic staff as they settle inside. "Now they'll stay up till dawn playing poker," says Paulina, disconsolate. "I think I should go," I tell her. "Please stay," Paulina says. She looks at me, hopeful. On the sofa, curled up, she looks young and lonely. I know that she wants me with her right now, but nothing good can come of me spending any more time here. Suddenly, it feels depressing to me. This party, full of people dancing and drinking just to feel something, anything at all. The echo of Kit's song is still in my mind, and then there's the horrible fact of Gregory, right there, 100 meters from me, and his daughter, inches away, an intimacy that I am getting too relaxed about. I stand, a touch abruptly, and Paulina glances up. "You were very kind to invite me," I say. It comes out a bit more formally than I wanted. When do you leave? She asks. In a couple of days. To London? I nod. Back to university? Yes, after the summer. She is so completely trusting of me and my phantom degree course. She looks at me for a long moment, with a quiet smile. Maybe one day soon I'll come to London and see you, Paulina says. I imagine it. On the one hand, a disaster, a web of lies that would have to be maintained. On the other, I really like the idea of seeing her home, of us being together, beyond the few hours and days that this mission involves. I'd like that, I say. It's true, and I'm afraid of my own feelings. It's time for me to leave the party and Paulina as fast as I can. The end of chapter 12. Hope you are enjoying this book. I am. See you next time.